Andy and I have not done press or made a public appearance, including premieres, in over the 12 years. People mistakenly believe that this has to do with my gender. It does not. After The Matrix was released in '99, we both experienced this alarming contraction of our world and thus our lives. We became acutely aware of the preciousness of anonymity, understanding it as a form of virginity, something you only lose once. Anonymity allows you access to civic space, to a form of participation in public life, to an egalitarian invisibility that neither of us was prepared to give up. We told Warner Brothers that we decided we didn't want to do press anymore. They told us, no. This is, they were absolutely not. This is non-negotiable. Directors are essential to selling, marketing a movie. We said, okay, we get it. So if it's a choice between making movies or doing press, we've decided we're not going to make movies. They said, hang on. Like, maybe there's a little room for negotiation. I have been out to my family and friends for over a decade, and the majority of that time I've been discussing this particular moment with my therapist, my family, and my wife, because I know eventually I'm going to do it, but I also know that there is going to be a price for it. Early on, I am told to get in line after a morning bell, girls in one line, boys in the other. I walk past the girls, feeling this strange, powerful gravity of association. Yet some part of me knows I have to keep walking. As soon as I look towards the other line, though, I feel a feeling of differentiation that confuses me. I don't belong there either. I stop in between them. The nun, I realize, is staring at me, and then she's shouting at me, and I don't know what to do. She grabs me, and then she's yelling at me. And suddenly, most improbably, if it happened in a movie, you would never believe this, but there's these screeching tires, and my mom suddenly just happened to be driving by. It's like, totally true. She jumps out of her car, she hurls herself at this nun, rips me away from her, rescuing me. She warns her, the nun, never to touch me again. So I wrote this speech back then, much as I wrote this one, with butterflies churning. I worked on it at night, wearing the slip that I used as a nightie that I had stolen from my sister. I wrote about the way that knowledge had an actual materiality, not unlike the materiality of a ladder that could be used to gain access to places and worlds that were previously unimaginable. I have no real memory of giving that speech. I remember afterwards being in the bathroom, hiding in a locked stall, feeling the slip I wore under my suit as I cried, feeling stupid and that I was a liar because I was unable myself to imagine a world where I would ever fit in. As I grew older, an intense, anxious isolation coupled with constant insomnia began to inculcate an inescapable depression. I have never slept much, but during my sophomore year in high school, when I watched many of my male friends start to develop facial hair, I kept this strange, relentless vigil, staring in the mirror for hours, afraid of what one day I might see. Here, in the absence of words to defend myself, without examples, without models, I began to believe voices in my head, that I was a freak, that I am broken, that there is something wrong with me, that I will never be lovable. After school, I go to the nearby Burger King and I write a suicide note. It ends up being over 4 pages. a little talkative. But it was addressed to my parents, and I really wanted to convince them that it wasn't their fault. It was just that I didn't belong. I cry a lot as I write this note, but the staff at Burger King have seen it all before. And they seem immune. I was very used to traveling home quite late because of the theater. I know the train platform will be empty at night because it always is. I let the B train go by because I know the A train will be next and it doesn't stop. When I see the headlight, I take off my backpack and I put it on the bench. It has the note in front of it. I try not to think of anything but jumping as the train comes. Just as the platform starts to rumble, suddenly I notice someone walking down the ramp. It is a skinny older man wearing overly large 1970s square-style glasses that remind me of the ones my grandma wears. He stares at me the way animals stare at each other. I don't know why he wouldn't look away. All I know is that because he didn't, I am still here. We went to dinner. I dressed as feminine as I could, wanting to be seen by strangers as Lana, hoping that waiters would not call me sir or he, as if these people suddenly had the power to confirm or deny my existence. My mom is also a bit talkative. She always introduces herself to the waiter or waitress. And she's like, "Hi, I'm Lynn. This is my daughter Lana." And the waitress smiled and said, "Wow, she looks just like you." When my dad arrived, he shrugged it off. Easier than accepting that his wife and daughter had once voted for Jane Byrne instead of Harold Washington. A choice that still rankles him today. He said, "Look, if my kid wants to sit down and talk to me, I'm a lucky man. What matters is that you're alive, you seem happy, and that I can put my arms around you and give you a kiss." I am here because Mr. Henderson taught me that there are some things we do for ourselves, but there are some things we do for others. I am here because when I was young, I wanted very badly to be a writer. I wanted to be a filmmaker, but I couldn't find anyone like me in the world, and it felt that my dreams were foreclosed simply because my gender was less typical than others. If I can be that person for someone else, then the sacrifice of my private civic life may have value.